I was just, I was saying to somebody this morning that, day two is not too bad. I had another cup of oatmeal and one cup of coffee this morning. But the time you're spending thinking about it, about kind of how hard this really would be if this is how you had to do this all the time. How do you find something that's nutritious? How do you do it with, really limited money? It would be hard. It would be hard doing it all the time. But no, I'm doing fine so far.
Did the governor feed you in there?
No, there was no food in there.
Ouch.
No food in there, and I decided, because grabbing a cup of coffee from the Keurig is not on the SNAP challenge, so I'm going without right now. So.
And now, there are some reforms to the SNAP program, as I understand it, in both the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House versions of the new Farm Bill. What's your assessment?
So here's the issue. Coming out of the House Ag Committee, there was a proposal for about $20 billion worth of cuts over the next 10 years. On the Senate side, they came out earlier this week with about $400 million. I think that what we heard from Speaker Boehner yesterday was that he's interested in moving forward on the reforms that came out of the House Ag Committee, which to me indicates that they're interested in those significant cuts. For us in Massachusetts, that's thousands of individuals that are going to lose the benefit. It's obviously millions across the country, and that's on top of cuts that are already going to be automatically enacted in October, because there is some additional funding that came through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act that will be pulled back. So a family of four already is going to have $25 less in their pocket effective October 1st. So it's a fairly significant impact on the program. And again, the program is completely means tested. You can't have up to 130% of the federal poverty guidelines. So in order to be eligible for it, you're talking about people that, for a family of four, are making, on the order of $31,000. So it's a fairly modest benefit. The farm subsidies are being looked at the same time. There are some positive things there. Right now a lot of our subsidies go to the corn and wheat farmers. There's subsidies for crop insurance, and there's subsidies for the insurers who sell the crop insurance. So there are some opportunities to address the system. I'm just not sure doing it on the backs of people that use this food on a daily, weekly, monthly basis is the way to do it.
So does the House version, does that change the eligibility?
Right now, from what I saw coming out of the Ag Committee, it was all about funding, and it was not about the eligibility piece. What remains to be seen is what happens on the House floor in terms of how they enact what came out of the committee. But out of the committee, the $20 billion, which is actually $4 billion more in cuts than they had proposed last year, is really just around the funding piece so far.
I see. And the Senate, at least, here is going to take up a standalone welfare reform piece, and the House has been pushing some measures as well. What would you like to see enacted?
Well, I think that there's a couple things that are important. We are, as you know, we are really focused right now on the integrity of the program. So we're looking forward to working with the House and the Senate as they address the reform to come up with ideas to ensure that the individuals who need this benefit need these benefits in order to help transition them, get them, and the ones that aren't supposed to get them don't. I think the other important thing is it would be great to see some discussions from the House and Senate around how we transition these benefits, because there's some cliff impacts. So if you do get a job, you can automatically start to lose your benefits, and what that ends up happening is we end up recycling people onto and off of benefits, and in some instances have some disincentives for people to take some jobs because it puts them just enough over the income limit where they lose benefits, and yet you still can't make a living wage. There was a discussion earlier this week about raising the minimum wage so that people have a working wage. All of these things are really tied together. It's our job to make sure that the benefits and the program is being run efficiently and effectively, and we've addressed fraud, waste, and abuse. But I think it's all of our jobs to ensure that we've got programs that do what we want them to do, which is transition people to full employment, living on and having a living wage to take care of themselves and their family.